2, 1.
Hello everyone, I would just like to talk today about my stuttering. I have talked with a stutter my whole life. It is the only talking I know. Actually, my parents have told me I have stuttered from the very first words I've ever said. So it is really the only speaking I know. So I would just like to talk today about a little bit about what stuttering is and how stuttering therapy and research is done, and how I believe stuttering has affected my life and made me a better thinker and a more logical analyzer. The overall prevalence in a society is about 1 in every 3,000 adults stutter, and this varies anywhere from a very mild stutter to where you would only stutter on a few words every so often, to where you can honestly not be able to put two words together. And my case of stuttering is about in the middle area, somewhere. In terms of stuttering research, there has not really been a lot of research done into the causes of stuttering right now. It is thought to be genetic, but there has not been a lot of good research, mainly because there's a lack of funding. Because if some person is deciding whether they want to donate money to stuttering research or to cancer research, obviously they tend to choose cancer, as it is a much more pressing issue. But nonetheless, stuttering has not had a lot of research into the causes, but there are certain genetic factors that are believed to cause stuttering, and I actually hit on many of these factors. I have a grandparent who stuttered, and also I am a twin, which has a much higher stuttering rate. I am male, most stutterers are male, and I am left-handed. And fun fact here: 4 out of 5 stutterers are left-handed, which suggests some sort of connection genetically between handedness and stuttering. Stuttering is commonly thought of to be similar to the speech disorder Tourette's. It is Tourette's being a more well-known speech impediment, but yeah, stuttering is commonly thought to be similar to that in terms of why you stutter. The study of stuttering usually falls into the category of psychology. A lot of people think that that societal factors such as pressure and being scared contribute to stuttering. Although I really don't subscribe to this theory. I personally don't feel that stutterers stutter because of pressure or shyness or some kind of mental instability, as is sometimes thought of. And the therapy of stuttering, which I'll talk more about later, really goes into trying to teach stutterers how to reproduce speech in the same way that a fluent speaker naturally produces speech. So overall, stuttering is commonly viewed as a disability, and it's obvious that, why everyone thinks that, because they hear people struggling through words, and a lot of times they think that because they're struggling through their words, they must not be thinking right, and there are people who have actually asked me, "Hey, Thomas, when you're thinking, do you stutter?" And the answer to that is a no. I think just as clearly, or probably more clearly than many people do. So stuttering is not an intelligence thing, although it is still viewed as a disability. I actually qualify for an individualized education plan through the school, where I would not have to do any speaking assignments. Obviously, I choose not to do this because I, like a lot of stutterers, like to talk, and I really don't feel any pressure speaking, and I'm probably more comfortable publicly speaking than many fluent speakers are. And this leads me into saying why I believe that stuttering has many benefits. I think the biggest one here is that it has made me a much better thinker. This comes by simply using my brain in a more logical way and thinking through more things. Because when I am trying to speak, I must constantly be aware of the fact that there are words that trouble me and phrases I may not be able to say. My type of stuttering means that I can stutter on any word at any time. So I need to be always thinking about like what words are coming up next, and as I get to these words, I can generally feel whether I will be stuttering on them or not. So this leads me to have to make a quick change in the way I phrase things or the words I use. This leads to me having a much better grasp of vocabulary than many fluent speakers are. One, because I must simply know more words, because there are times when the usual words that most speakers would use I won't be able to say. So I must know a synonym to be able to switch to. This leads to me knowing the connotation between words much better. I feel like I have a handle on word connotations better because of this. Like the difference between the words big, large, enormous, huge, substantial, massive, great. They all mean the same thing. They all mean an object that is of tremendous size. But if I know that I need to use one of these words and I'm about to stutter on it, I need to know which word I can change to best, which word fits the same connotation, and always using these thinking processes have allowed me to understand how my brain works better, because I'm able to start at one point and branch out in many mental directions. So I'm able to keep track of many more mental flows, many more logical processes at one time because of my stuttering, because I'm always aware of these word trains and how I can rephrase things to be able to speak more fluently. Now, the problem with doing this, with changing words constantly to avoid trouble words, this is not real fluency. That is what's known as a spontaneous fluency. It involves simply using words that you can essentially get lucky on and not stutter. What the speech therapy that I use is focused on is on reproducing real fluency. Basically, what stutterers do wrong, we do unconsciously wrong. The things that fluent speakers do to speak, they do unconsciously without thinking. Stutterers, to be able to talk fluently, must consciously be aware of these things that fluent speakers don't have to monitor. These are things such as the positioning of the lips and tongue, and the strength of the vibrations of the vocal folds. So I'm actually lucky that one of the top stuttering therapy institutes in the world is in Roanoke, Virginia, and I have been fortunate enough to be able to study there twice. So this has really helps me to understand how speech works and how I can reproduce real fluent speech. Basically, the trouble with this is that I must be constantly aware of how I am speaking. It is very much a mental battle to be able to speak fluently for a stutterer, because we really can't take a word off. Like anytime we don't use our fluent speech targets for even one word, that is reinforcing the bad stuttered speech. So what as a stutterer I must do is constantly be aware of the way I'm speaking, so that I can talk better. I must always be aware of how I'm using my lips and my tongue and my vocal folds to always work together. And I mean, there's obviously a reason why I don't speak perfectly fluently all the time, is because it is this mental struggle where I have to always be going through these processes to where it takes a whole lot of energy to be able to do this, because there are still words that I have trouble on. But I think overall, this battle that I have with myself and against myself really has led me to be a better thinker. I honestly believe that my stuttering has made me smarter. It has made me smarter because I'm always looking to use my targeted fluent speech, and always using these processes make my brain much more logical, because I am more used to putting in deep thought and effort. I'm really reinforcing hard work and work ethic every single time I speak. So in the end, I would just like to conclude with the fact that although my stuttering is viewed as a disability, I really don't view it as that. I don't think of it as a disability. I like to view it as a challenge, really. A challenge for me to expand my mind and to expand my logical thinking to be able to overcome this. And I think that has made me a stronger and smarter person in the end. Thank you.